Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Marty Winners here. I'm up in the Flinders Ranges at Anchorage in the Village, South Australia, in a lovely little caravan park here in the northern Flinders Ranges. It's a bit chilly here, so the lips are struggling to move, but anyway, it was a cold night, slept in the swag. We're up here with Stuart Duisberg and Con. We're a couple of free lead riders for the Flinders Classic, and Stewie is the main man. He's the one who organises it all. The Enduro boys were here last week, and this week it's the turn for the adventure riders. So part of our job for this event is to come up 4 or 5 weeks before the event and go and ride all the tracks, meet some of the station owners, I suppose, and talk to the locals and just get a bit of a feel of the area before the main contingent of riders come up, which is about 100 riders.
Driving on Glass Gorge Road. Just turned off the main road that goes from Anchorage across to Parachilna. This is a road that follows the creek bed. Going to head up to Willaloo Station and do the PAR. PAR is public access route, or public access route. So yeah, it's looking pretty good through here. It's not sloppy. It's pretty firm base. Excellent. So we ride all the tracks that we're going to be taking all the crew on as they come up in 4 weeks' time, just to make sure, you know, A, that we memorise the tracks, look out for things to see, see if there are any issues like major washouts and the like. At the end of the day, in 4 or 5 weeks' time, when we come up, a lot of things could have changed. We could have had, you know, big storms and that up here, so track conditions will change. But this is more of a familiarisation for us all. So yeah, so we'll track across on the PAR and come out to Blinman. Blinman will stop for lunch, beer and a snitty. Then we're going to go off and travel on some station. Can't remember what that is, but you know, we'll talk about that later on. Have a look at that. So we're going to be taking the adventure riders on the station. Yeah, so bloody weather up here is awesome at the moment. I don't know what it's like back in my hometown of Adelaide. Just letting that guy go. No, we've got 2 more riders coming through. So yeah, here I think it's going to be 15 degrees today. It feels like 15 already. The thing about the sun in the outback regions is it sort of cuts through pretty quick. It's either bloody, you know, feeling warmer than what it actually is, or it's freezing. Last night I think we were down to about 0. As you saw, there's ice and all that on the tent, the swag and the bikes and that. It wasn't too bad at night. I had a sleeping bag and just another sleeping bag over me. But all in all, pretty good. So yeah, right, so let's see what this day gets us. We're not going to be riding too hard today. Last thing we want is damage to bikes or damage to self, because if any of us get hurt, obviously it's going to knock us out from the Flinders Classic, and poor Stewie will have to find another rider. Last night we had a discussion about tyre pressures, about whether, you know, you raise them or lower them and that. There's a lot of, I suppose, argument over whether you do or you don't. There's some train of thought at the moment that you pretty much just leave tyres where you're happy. And, you know, if you're going into sand, obviously drop your tyre pressure. Coming into rocky, shaly stuff like this, drop it a little bit. But you've got to be careful. You know, if you go too low, there's a chance of getting pitch flats. This bike here, you know, I'm riding this track here on road pressures. So far, I don't feel like I need to drop them down at all. As the dry months set in, this track will become a lot softer, the rocks will break up, and, you know, the shale will come to the surface, and you might think of maybe dropping the pressure. I don't know, I've never really messed around for a little bit. You know, I've messed around with it too much at all, really. The only time I'll drop the pressures is if I'm going to be riding through sand. I know the feel of the tyres at this pressure, so yeah, pretty much happy just leaving where they are. There's a few adventure bikes up here this weekend. Here we go, what do we got here? Didn't quite get that, might have been a V-Strom, I don't know. Yeah, as I was saying, quite a few adventure bikes up here this weekend. It's school holidays here in South Australia. A lot of families up. A lot of guys and girls that got leave from the family coming up here. It's glorious weather considering what we just over halfway through winter. Now I'm riding today, no thermals on, so just jocks and socks basically and a t-shirt. I'm still sweating. Doesn't help when you're wearing all black. But yeah, it's like I was saying earlier on, the weather up here, you know, the sun can really sort of pierce through here, cut you pretty deep if it's, you know, becomes hot. You certainly wouldn't really want to be riding up here in the middle of summer when it's up around 45 degrees. But you know, autumn, spring, winter, perfect. And if we do get heavy rains up here, it doesn't take long for the tracks to dry out. They maintain the tracks pretty good up around here. If you're going across the stations, usually the station owners maintain the tracks. And obviously being a working station, they want some pretty good bloody leading tracks. So yeah, just waiting on the boys coming up behind me. See Con's headlight. Stewie wouldn't be too far behind. So the thing is with, you know, like Stewie doing that little climb there before, you know, going down and trying to come back up, it's not that he doesn't have the ability to do that. He'd smash that in the right conditions, but we just, you know, time forward. Here the boys. You're right, Con. Righto. New signage, that's pretty spectacular. So heading across on Millaloo Road onto Millaloo Station. Alright, so we're going to be going on to a PAR, public access route, which basically starts at the front of the homestead itself. Now guys, if you're going to be doing this sort of riding through here, you're going on these PARs, obviously tread carefully and give a respect to the station owners that they are working stations. Hey, skip working stations, that say, yeah, ride with caution. A lot of these PARs are dry weather only, so if it's been raining, stay off it. You know, you're just going to chop it up. A lot of it's clay based, so you know, you cut through it pretty quick, and yeah, get too many bike riders doing that, before you know it, they close the track down. But the owners, the station owners or the lessees and all that are pretty good. They, you know, pretty flexible. They understand what we're doing, and a lot of them support adventure riding up here. Obviously, it's a good tourism draw card. A lot of creek beds like this one here. Nice and firm packed. And if you want to, you can drop along those creek beds there and ride along them. Lots of bloody good climbs. Good rocks to climb over and stuff like that. Into that sort of shit. We basically said we're only going to be doing, you know, maximum speeds of 80 k's today where possible. Just that we need to take in the environment, take in the views and that, and have, I suppose, a knowledge base of when we do bring the riders through here, that we got something to talk about, I suppose, just like a tour guide. We stop and say, did you see that? And, you know, point out things and that, just to give them a bit more of a wow factor. So this is Millaloo Station. You can stay in those cottages there, you can hire them out. And I believe you can actually pay a fee and go riding and full driving on the station as well. Generally it's about 50 or 60 bucks to go riding on these stations. Sorry, to go full driving, and I think motorcycle anywhere between 20 to 60 bucks a day. It's well worth it, you know. Get to see areas that the regular public don't get to access. So we're just turning right after the station itself, and we're going on to public access route number to Patawata Gap, 16 kilometres. It's also connects with the Ardmore PAR. Full drive only. Please keep the track. No caravans, no shooting. All that sort of stuff. Stewie's waiting there for us. Just roll back and fall off. A few bikes. First time I've ever been up this one. A lot of first times today. This is excellent. It's not real steep. Oh, come to an end here. Wow. Just wow.
Line up facing the other way.
Yep. Just gonna line the bikes up. Line the bikes up and get a photo. But don't drop the bike. Oh, it's the breeze. Oh, we're going over, we're going over. No, we're not. Righto. Switch on. Bogged. Righto. Let's do this. Going too slow, folks. That's what it was. Going too slow. There's some new tracks through here which I haven't seen before. Yeah, which way will we go? Stick to the creek. Yeah, that's it. Still going too slow. Alright, pick it up. Just get into it. Deep, it's deep, they're spinning. Beautiful. The thing about this stuff is when you hit the brakes, the front just bloody digs in. And if you got your steering turned a little bit, it says, I want to send you over the bars. Just send it, eh? Yeah, right. What's going on here? Just had a quick stop at the Ardmore Ruins. Caught up with some guys who are camping up here. Yeah, just have a bit of a look at it. That's going to be one of our stops on the rides. So it gives the guys a chance to re-water and what have you. Then next stop is Blinman. So it's Friday today. So we're going to the Blinman pub. Friday night at Blinman pub is pizza night. So if you want a good feed, the pizza's there. I'd say some of the best pizzas you'll get. Absolutely awesome. So yeah, looking forward to that. So we'll go there to Savo and have a quick beer and ride back to the campground, get ready for the night and then drive back in the full drive. This little track here leading out is quite an easy track. We've experienced a few heavy washouts. So Stewie's been GPS tracking this, and over the last couple of days he's been here for 3 weeks. He's gone and marked all the, I suppose, the danger spots like ruts and stuff like that, things the guys got to look out for. Now this event, the Flinders Classic, is a fully insured event, so you've got to join the AMA, and I think that's about $55 a year, and that gives you rider insurance. So if you have an accident, it's going to help you out there. It's not going to, you're not going to make heaps of money out of it. It's going to get you by. So the event's insured. Stu gets fully insured, pays a yearly subscription to it, and as a rider you come up here and yeah, have your membership. And it's advisable that you also have ambulance cover. The thing is, if you have a crash out here and you require an ambulance, it's not just around the corner. You know, I've been on a ride through here, leading a ride, adventure riders, and I've come across one of the enduro guys. They're around about here somewhere actually. He come around the corner, took it too hard and slid into a tree and did his shoulder. Anyway, they set off the EPIRB, PLB, and probably an hour or so later, full drive come flying through, lights and sirens, police car. It was a Land Cruiser come through to check you out and all that sort of stuff. At the same time, you know, the Royal Flying Doctor Service was getting ready to fly out. You can't get helicopters up here, so you're not going to get a rescue helicopter into this area. It's too far away from the city to fly, so you're going to have to rely on being full drive carried out, then put into an ambulance and taken to probably Hawker. Probably take a Hawker, then you know the RFDS can pick you up and take you away. There is a new airstrip being built at Parachuna. So, you know, won't be long before the RFDS will be landing there as well. So, yeah, so tread carefully, I suppose. That's the thing. Check this out, all these rocks. Awesome. You go over stuff like that, and, you know, you hit one a bit hard, a sharp edge, and you think, gee, I haven't pinched the tube there. Then you start riding and you feel the front feels a little bit different and you go, oh no. And I think that's just being conscious of it, that you're you've hit it and the possibility it's going to go down on you, so you start feeling all those little intricacies of the track. But this gives us lead riders a view of the track, you know, just re-familiarise ourselves with the ground and what to look out for. So obviously, you know, we're coming across with the ruts and logs and big rocks and all that sort of stuff to, you know, slow the ride down. Safety is paramount, I suppose. Yeah, so Stewie really goes out of his way to make sure it's 100% okay. But, you know, things change. Overnight they can change. As a lead rider, you're up front, you're trying to keep the pace up, so you've got rider skills behind you. Yeah, that's a varied level, but you might have guys who've, you know, been around the world a couple of times, ex-enduro riders, ex-MX riders and all that sort of stuff, and they want to go a little bit faster. Then you have the people who are just entering the sport and they just want to tootle along, which is fine. And we'll cater for all. So yeah, now we'll get into spots where we'll give a bit of a stretch and get a bit of speed up. But then I'll see spots which get quite rough and I'll just slow the pack down. This speed I'm doing here, what I'm doing, 45 k's in the 40s through here, so that's adequate, you know. You can pull 60, 70 through if you wanted to, but for adventure riders, large bikes, you know, that's adequate speed. Especially if you're not used to riding up around here, because this shale and loose rock, sort of slip your front wheel out from under you pretty quick. Happens very quick. So yeah, things like this here, go for that, twist your steering. So I'm just watching Con there, you know, hitting the brakes, pulling up, good indication of what's coming up. Got a rocky creek bed, just boom, bam. Bash plate is a must. Man Bikes Where can contest that. He just went up through this area on his Yamaha Tenere 1200, and I think he just had the standard bash plate, probably a plastic one or an aluminium one on it, and they're light aluminium. And he sort of made quite a few comments about that, having a bash plate. It's not just a case of coming down hard on a rock or a ledge or something like that, one of these dips, you know, and hitting it. It's also rocks flicking up from your front wheel. You know, you go over some of this shit here and you start flicking up those large rocks, which are, you know, size of a baseball or something like that. It's going to do a fair bit of damage. And, you know, veg bikes today, a lot of them, they put the oil filter right at the bloody front. So that's a target. That's an absolute target. Yeah, you might as well put a cross on it and say, hit me, because that's going to happen. So yeah, get yourself a good bash plate. I run B&B off-road engineering bash plate on this one here. It's awesome. And puff and puff up there. Wow, look at this. Oh shit. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Should have rise up off the seat there. Obviously, if you go in the enduro class, the hard enduro, you've got to be going a lot faster. Shit, have a look at all the goats. Look at them. Yo. Yo. Come on, little fella, get across. Well, that's the Moolaloo PAR completed. So pretty happy with that. They're on the North Flinders Road at the moment, heading back into Blinman. If you come into Blinman, it's good to go exploring some of these side tracks around the area. Check out the old cemetery. Yeah, there's a lot of good little sites around here. You know, things like the old grader there. They've got a mine here you can walk through. It's a paid tour. Left to Anchorage, Parachuna, straight ahead to the pub. So there's a few cottages in this town as well that you can rent, B&Bs. Up on the left here we have the cafe, so you can get pie, pasty, drinks and all that sort of stuff, a few basics. The Heritage Centre for the Blinman line's right there, so if you want to go do a tour. And here we have the Blinman Hotel. There's quite a few people in town today, getting the beer. So this is a must stop for adventure bike riders.